Warning, the following podcast contains adult content, adult language, and adult situations. I talk openly about sex and explicit topics. If you are under the age of 18 or are uncomfortable listening to sexually explicit narratives, please listen no further. I am not a professional therapist, counselor, or doctor. I'm just an average guy in the swinger lifestyle who likes to share his experiences. This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. Please seek a professional if you are in need of advice, guidance, or care as it relates to sexual health or alternative lifestyles. Hi, my friends, and welcome to Evan Swings. I'm your host, Evan, and this is my podcast about the swinger lifestyle from a male perspective. Usually. So I'm half of a lifestyle couple, and the other half is my wife, Eva, and she is actually joining me for the first time as a guest on this podcast right now. So hello, Eva.
Hello, Evan.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming on my podcast.
You're welcome. So cute.
And if you are giving this podcast a shot for the first time, thank you for joining me, first of all. And I wanted to be upfront and clear about this. This is, just my point of view, and in this case, our point of view. I asked Eva to join us because we have a tale to tell you that she will have an awesome perspective on, and will no doubt fill in details that I may forget to fill in. So I thought it would be fun to have her on to talk about that. And we do have to warn you that we are filming this right now in our home office, and we have a kid upstairs. And if he were to come downstairs, we're going to have to pause this. So there may be some unexpected pauses as we get through this episode, but bear with us. I think you'll find it worth it. So up until this point, I've been moving chronologically through a journey in the lifestyle, but I think that's going to change now. So with this episode, we're changing that up. My first 7 episodes were designed to kind of build a foundation to show how we got into the lifestyle and discuss some of our first experiences. But now that that foundation has been built, I don't think it's necessary anymore to move chronologically. Therefore, we're stepping off that path today, and we want to tell you about a very recent experience, a very strange one.
Yeah.
A frustrating one. Mostly for you, Eva.
For me, yeah.
But before we get to that, I usually start episodes with, some kind of minor rant or narrative expressing an opinion on a lifestyle topic. So today, we wanted to offer some advice. Now remember, we're not experts. Eva and I have been doing this for about 3 years now, almost 3 years. And I don't think we can be considered experts. Perhaps there are very few in the lifestyle who can be considered experts, if anybody. So this advice that we're about to give, take it or leave it, but it is our opinion only. The advice we want to give you is to be honest with your profile. Okay, if you use SLS or SDC or some other lifestyle site, be honest. Okay, especially with your photos. Okay, there have been at least 2 occasions where we have met couples who looked completely different than their profile. I mean completely different. So it was almost like they were intentionally trying to be deceptive. The first was a couple outside of Columbus. We'd been chatting them for some time, and it turned out that they were buying a vehicle in our hometown, as luck would have it. So they came out to visit the local dealership, and so I said, we might as well invite them to meet for dinner, and they were happy to do so. And there really isn't much else to that story. It's just when we pulled into the lot, they were pulling in, and when she got out of the car, I'm sorry to say, I was just not attracted to her. Now you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but her husband, I thought, looked pretty much the same as his photos.
Except for the eye patch.
Yes, he did wear an eye patch, which was interesting.
And not in the photos.
And right, and they weren't present in the photos. Correct.
Well, I feel like that should have been disclosed.
Again,
And
that's
I
what we're
understand
talking
it was a
about.
transient issue,
Yes.
that there was something weird going on with one eye. But I could have used a heads up to, okay, you've seen my photos, but just so you know, right now I have to wear an eye patch until this eye issue gets resolved. And I would have been prepared.
Right.
And I would have been okay.
Yeah.
I was
It's
not prepared to see an eye patch. So then I had to adjust.
and that's what we're saying. Just be honest with everything. So the next day, I messaged them and said that we had a really good time, which was the truth, and we didn't feel that there was a spark, and that was the truth. And I hope that we could still be friends. So, all truthful stuff. And this couple was, again, super nice. Okay, they were really kind about it. She responded with something like, of course, we had a great time too, but we understand chemistry is important, and if everyone's not feeling it, then we're all adults. We're all adults here, and we should go our separate ways. And that was just a fantastic response. I mean, that was.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the point was that could have all been avoided if they were honest and accurate with their profile pics.
Well, I was annoyed because I rearranged my work schedule to have lunch with them.
Mm-hmm.
And if I wouldn't have done that, if you had seen an accurate picture and known that, I'm just not attracted
right.
to her, I wouldn't have wasted my time rearranging my work.
Yeah, and first impressions with pictures and the lifestyle, they are important. So right before we started recording this, Eva, actually, you mentioned that we should mention. You mentioned that we should mention the that some people don't have face like profile pics, like face pics.
No.
And they try to say hello and talk, and then we take all this time, do all these conversations with them, and then we find out when we do share face pics that they're not very attractive and
In the
it's just-
face.
right?
Yeah.
And physical appearance, unfortunately, is very important. I mean, there has to be some kind of physical attraction, and we understand discretion and privacy, but I think that you need to be very upfront with face pics right away. If you start talking to somebody, I think if you don't have face pics available on your profile, you need to make them available right away after you start talking. Agree?
What, with like a locked folder or something?
Anything, lock folder, send them separately, just so they know, so everybody knows who they're talking to. It just seems like it would save a lot of time.
Well, I also don't like when you show me some pictures on some of the sites that can't be enlarged. So, like, it can't even take up the entire phone screen. And I can't judge whether or not I find that couple, the man or the woman, attractive.
So that's why I usually, in our profile on some of the sites we use, I put very bluntly, if you do not, we usually will not respond to you if you don't have I keep saying Facebook. If you don't have face pics, or the face pics you have are obscured by distance, by clarity, or sunglasses, something like that. We need to know what you look like. I'm sorry to say. So there's one more quick situation we'll tell you about before we get into our main tale. And that was a situation where we were chatting with a couple from Columbus. And Columbus is a large city. It's if I'm correct, it's 14th in the nation in terms of population. So it's normal for there to be a higher concentration of lifestyle couples living there compared to where we live in a smaller city. And they seemed great. Okay, we had similar interests. They seemed super nice. They seemed very attractive. And even better, they had season tickets to the Columbus Blue Jackets. And I'm a huge hockey fan. They're my favorite team. And Eva got involved in these chats too. And all four of us seemed to be really hitting it off. Eva decided to take a chance and asked if they said they had season tickets, but they hardly ever attended games. It was right around my birthday, so Eva secretly contacted them, and we haven't even met them yet at this point, and asked if they were using the Jackets tickets for the game on my birthday weekend. They were not, and they actually offered her the tickets for free. And who are these awesome people, right? So Eva surprises me and says we have to pick up the tickets from this couple. So we decided we might as well turn that into a meet and greet. So we arranged to have dinner, and we
Before
showed
the game.
right before the game. And when they showed up, Eva and I were both, and you can correct me if I'm overstating this, just absolutely shocked. They looked completely different, both of them completely different compared to their profile pics. It was just a staggering difference. And we enjoyed our meal, and
They were really nice. Yeah, we really liked them.
we did.
We weren't attracted to them.
That was the
but we really
problem.
liked them.
And am I right? Do I remember this correctly? That they really didn't clean up well. They didn't seem to. She didn't seem to wear a lot of makeup, and I'm not saying you have to wear makeup. I mean, we know a couple that the woman doesn't wear makeup and she pulls it off beautifully. But her, she didn't seem like she did her hair very well. She just kind of showed up kind of
No,
frumpy.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I think they just were not attractive to us. I don't remember them being frumpy
Because I
at
remember
all.
he had just this T-shirt on, and I had, and I stepped it up. I had a nice button down, and because remember, because he something happened to his sweatshirt, and he went and buy one.
That's the only reason that he had the T-shirt, though.
Okay.
There was something, yeah. I don't think the T-shirt was intended for us to actually see, but it wasn't a bad T-shirt.
And they were by no means ugly people.
No, they weren't.
We were just unfortunately not attracted to them. But all of this again could have been avoided if their profile pics were more accurate. So we look back, and I think they just use a lot of filters and good angles.
Well, everybody
And-
uses good angles.
Sure, we try to, of course, but I think that is what deceived us, if that's the right word.
I guess. I don't know.
But we actually had a dilemma after that because, like we said, we really like them.
We did.
We
We had
had
a
a-
lot in common.
Yes, so many similar interests. And I'm not just saying that because they could hook us up with free tickets to hockey games. I'm not. I promise I'm not saying that. He was into science fiction, just like I am. We liked similar books and TV shows. It was
Games.
Games, yeah. It was a fantastic discussion. So we had a dilemma. We wanted to we wanted to keep talking to them, but somehow transition it from a lifestyle friendship to a vanilla friendship. So we worked up kind of a plan. We were like, okay, well, we'll keep chatting with them, and the next time that they offer to do something, we'll just kind of lay it out like, hey, we really want to get together when we plan on getting together, but that's about as far as it's going to go. We're going to keep it outside the bedroom. So that was the plan. But it didn't really matter
It didn't matter.
because
We
they-
were chatting, though. I was chatting with her,
and then
talking about books and
and then they just ghosted us. They just never talked to us again.
it was so funny.
And so here we are worried about how we're going to let this couple off the hook.
They were trying to get off the
And
hook too.
I guess they didn't like us. So, okay. Problem solved, just not the way we intended. So, all right. So my point to all this was be honest with your picks and be honest with your profile. It's unfair to trick, for lack of a better word, to trick others into seeing you because they find you attractive when your photos are not accurate. Okay, keep your photos relatively up to date. Avoid over filtering. We don't use filters at all. Eva and I, we don't use
No.
filters at all.
Because I don't want to be standing in the bedroom in front of somebody and have them think, well, shoot, that's not what I thought I was getting.
Exactly. So with us, what you see is what you get, and we think that's the way it should be. We're not trying to convince or persuade anyone to talk to us. If you like what you see, great. If not, no hard feelings. Move along. If either of those couples had honest photos and profiles, we would not have wasted our time.
Well, the problem with the second couple is that I never got to see a photo large enough that I could tell.
Yeah, and I forget what site that was on, but some sites you can't enlarge the pictures to get a better view. So that
Or
caused a
like
little bit of an
zoom
issue.
in on
Yeah,
someone's
you can't
face,
zoom in.
zoom in on.
So, and it worked out because one couple was very kind about it, and the other just flat out ghosted
It
us.
was a non-issue.
Yeah, so it was a non-issue, but it could have gone. It could have gotten sour. So
I wonder if she ever read the book I recommended. She said she was gonna.
I don't know. So that will segue into our tale for today. The tale of the Alexa guy. And this just happened to us recently, the time of this recording. So March of 2024 is when we're recording this right now. I might not post this until April, but that's when we're recording this. So we'll refer to them to preserve identities. We'll call them Alex and Siri. So the story starts it actually begins in the spring of 2023. So we went to a hotel takeover, went out with a group of people, and met Alex and Siri as part of that group. But our targets were actually a different couple. And so you'll find that out in a future episode, which I hope Eva joins me for again.
That's a good one,
so
too.
that's we're going to call that the Sensitive Nurses episode, and I really hope that Eva will join me for that one as well. Mm-hmm. Sweet. So anyway, so we didn't really talk to Alex and Siri very much, so we had all but forgotten about them, to be honest. But fast forward to January of 2024, and this guy reaches out to me on one of the sites we use, and we chat a little bit and exchange some pics, and suddenly he says, "We know you guys." So he recalled the dinner we had at the hotel takeover where Eva and I vaguely remember meeting them. So we continued chatting, and I actually really hit it off with this guy. He had a very similar sense of humor to me, and his wife was very, very attractive and really enjoyed board games. So if you listen to previous episodes, you'll recall that Eva and I love board games. We are board game nerds. So if you're willing to play board games with us, then that's serious bonus points for you.
It is.
So February rolls around, and we're going to try this a new club. It's called Tempted in Louisville, and we highly recommend this club. It is a great club, but it is 3 hours from us, so we'll probably go maybe once or twice a year. As it turned out, coincidentally, Alex and Siri were going as well. So we were going with some other lifestyle friends of ours, but we said that we would definitely say hello and chat with them while we were there. So eventually we found them at the club. Eva and I, we approached them and said hello. I remember Siri was wearing this tight red dress. She was looking pretty damn fine in it.
So was everyone else at that club.
That is true.
For Valentine's Day.
That's true.
Everyone was wearing a tight red dress.
I don't remember what he was wearing either. I don't think it was anything remarkable.
Well, it wasn't a tight red dress,
No.
so I don't remember either.
So we talked with them a little bit throughout the night, but we were with another couple, so we couldn't devote an exceptional amount of time to them. We wanted to be respectful. But I noticed something, and I usually don't notice things. I'm very oblivious to things. But, I don't read signals well, but I was picking up that Siri was actually into me. I kept noticing her eyeballing me from across the room. She caught me eyeballing her a few times. So I made it a point that before we left that club, I wanted to dance with her at least one time. So we were getting closer to her departure time, so I finally got the opportunity where she wasn't talking to other people to ask her for a dance. So I danced with her, and I told her how hot I thought she looked and how nice her smile was. And I also told her that I hoped I would be able to see her again sometime. And she said she would love that. Awesome.
And I danced with him while you were dancing.
Did you? See, I don't even
her.
remember that, really.
I think.
Okay, so after we danced, I assumed we were leaving right away, but we probably stayed around for like another 20 minutes or so.
I don't know.
And during that time, Alex and Siri both came over to talk to us again. So I'm talking to Siri, and all of a sudden I look to my left, and Eva is kissing Alex. So you were kissing.
I asked him first.
You did, didn't you?
Yeah.
Didn't you say like, can I bite your bottom lip or something? Can I suck on your bottom lip?
I think so. Well, it was very obvious that he was interested
Oh yeah.
at that time.
Well, how could they
At
not
that
be?
time.
Listeners, I want you to know my wife is drop dead fucking hot.
No, she's not.
Yes, she is. So I wish I can show you her, but I cannot. So I was like, how did this happen? So she stopped kissing him, and I don't know what you said to Siri, but it was something like,
Oh, I asked if I could kiss her.
yeah, like now it's your turn or something like that. So they started kissing. I'm like, oh my God. So they
Well,
stopped.
I mean, we already knew we were going to meet them at some point after.
Well, sure.
We knew we were going to do a spicy date.
Well, sure. So they stopped, and I said something like to Siri, I was like, well, hell, I'm the only one not getting kissed, so can I kiss you? And she pulled me in, and we kissed, and it was hot, and I was so excited to see her again, and we left shortly after that. Now, I will say this: Siri is a lot like Eva. She doesn't like to chat on messaging platforms, until things really have gotten going with our conversations. So it was mostly me and this dude chatting for the next several days after Tempted. But
you had a great time with that.
I did, and I'll explain that in just a moment. But Eva was also interested in chatting with Alex, so
Not until we had scheduled. It was just a few days before
okay,
we were going to meet them.
all right, but let's go into that now. So Alex was open to chatting with Eva, but that did not go swimmingly, did it?
It did not.
So explain to our
But
listeners how that did not go swimmingly.
It just, well, what did I say to you? That he might be as bad as you at flirting
Yes,
over
because I suck at
texting.
flirting. I totally admit, I totally suck at
Evan
flirting.
is, really bad at flirting. He is. In person, via text, anything.
Mm-hmm.
He's not exaggerating. He's really bad at it. A
So-
lot of flirty things that get sent to women, I actually write
Yeah, I admit
on
that.
his behalf.
Sure. Well, that's why we're a
And
good
he
team.
okays it.
We're a good team. But you would throw out all this flirtatious banter, and he would never.
That is what I
respond.
was expecting. Yeah, I
But-
gave him many, many openings to compliment
But
me.
he never complimented
He
you, right?
never did. No, he texted with me. He chatted with me as though he was chatting with you almost.
Yeah.
And so it didn't last long. I mean, it was, a half hour. And then I was like, well, this is boring. I'm done with it. I guess we'll see how
Right, we'll see how
the
this
evening
goes.
goes. Because some people are just not good at flirting and not good at chatting like Evan.
Like me.
But
yes,
he's a
and,
ton of fun in the bedroom and at
thanks.
dinner and to talk to in person. And
and to listen to podcasts.
yeah.
All right, so we had this date set up, and he told me something during the period before that still sticks in my mind. He said to me in a text, he said Siri really wants to fuck you, and I confess, listeners, that I don't hear things like that very often. So I jokingly refer to Eva as the bait in our lifestyle relationship. She is the bait. She attracts the men because she is smoking hot, both with her physical appearance and because of her personality. So she is the bait. She reels the guys in, and if the guys want a piece of her, then their spouse has to put up with me. So that's probably not completely accurate.
No, it is not.
But
I don't reel anyone
Oh,
in.
you do.
I do not.
Oh, you do. So that is honestly how I see we target our couples, is that Eva's the bait and I'm just the guy that the other woman has to have sex
You
with.
target them that way.
Right.
I don't target them at all.
So if you're the bait, maybe I'm the rod, because you have to go fish. you
I
go
like your
fishing.
rod.
You have to have.
You know how to use it well.
You have to have a rod. So you're the bait and I'm the rod. Anyway, all right. So Alex and we arranged to have a date a couple weeks later, and they lived outside of Cincinnati. Their kids were not going to be home. They had their house to themselves and could host us. Now, hosting is a huge boon. If you go back and listen to episode 6, I explain how many or how having someone host is such a benefit for saving money and for having a laid back, casual atmosphere. So the plan was dinner with Alex and Suri, then back to their place for games. Things went well. Playtime. Before the date, he sent me a weird text, though.
Very weird.
Was it that morning?
It was either the night before or that morning. It was after I had given up on chatting with him.
Okay. Well,
So
at the time, I didn't really know if it was a bad omen, but it was.
it was.
He asked if it would be okay if during our play date he brought out some of the sex furniture he built. He had like a saddle of some kind and a
He
swing,
had a spanking bench.
a spanking bench,
Yeah.
and he wanted to know if he could take photos because he loved photography.
Oh, I don't remember you telling me that.
Yeah.
I just knew. As soon as you said he wants to know if, and I was like, no, not on the first date
Yes.
anyway. That's something I would be open to from someone that I'd met with multiple times and knew well.
Yes, and that's what I told him, and he was fine with it. You know, we just said
It's very weird of him to bring it up to someone who he's never been with.
right.
Very
Agreed.
weird.
So we had all these little warning signs, but we kept at it. Dinner was interesting. The place they picked was decent, but very, very loud.
It was very loud. That was annoying.
It was tough to have conversations that we're used to having. Funny side story. This heavier older gentleman at the table next to us came crashing to the floor when his chair broke underneath him. And you would think that that would be the most crazy, interesting story of the evening.
It wasn't.
But it wasn't. So at dinner we talked about Eva sensed something was off. She is much better at this than I am.
I am, and we have a new rule since this night too.
We'll go ahead and tell them the rule.
The new rule is we do not play with anyone. We do not have a spicy date until we have had a vanilla date first,
Yes.
with absolutely no expectations and no intentions. Like, I deliberately do not shave my legs before the first vanilla date with a couple, because if my legs and other areas are unshaven, then there's no way I'm going to be tempted to let anyone new view anything or feel anything or touch anything. And I do not want to be tempted in any way to break this rule and do a spicy date. Go back to their house, because the last time we did that, it wasn't bad, but it was nothing special at all. I could have lived without it. So
And during this dinner, like I always made it like I make it a point. Like I want to give the girl my attention. So, you know, a lot of eye contact, showing interest.
you did that.
Yeah, I did. He did not do that to you.
No, we did not.
And I remember I have to mention this because it paints a picture. At one point, Siri looked at me, pointed at me, and said, "I want that dick."
During dinner?
Yes, she
Oh,
said that, and I was
I
like, I
didn't
was all
know
hot and
that.
bothered by that.
I didn't
That was
hear
a
that.
massive turn on. So another interesting thing that happened during that dinner was that they told us a few interesting stories of some bad lifestyle experiences they had.
Yeah.
And we said, "Oh, we really didn't have any interesting
No, we don't have too
bad
many.
lifestyle experiences." Little did we know, but this night was
Was
going
going
to
to be.
turn into one of those tales. So, dinner wrapped up, and we headed.
I just thought of something
What?
that I remember thinking of when we were at dinner, and I never mentioned it to
What's
you.
that?
When I was chatting with him, I specifically asked, like, does he have a favorite color? Does he have a favorite style of lingerie? Does he have, like, you really like dangly earrings? That really turns you on. Does he have anything like that? I told him, you really like dangly earrings. Now, what I expected him to do was tell his wife that Evan really enjoys dangly earrings. That did not, because she didn't have any earrings on at all.
No,
Yeah. So he did not tell her that,
true.
because I know she would have worn them if she had known.
Oh yeah, because like I said, usually
Yeah.
I can't sense when women are into me, but she was into me.
Yeah.
So we got to their house after dinner wrapped up, and the second we got in the door, not exaggerating, Alex wanted to show us all his cool gadgets and tech stuff. He used Alexa for everything, and that's why we're using his name as Alex for this. Everything, okay? To turn on the lights, to adjust the brightness of the lighting, to adjust the temperature, to play music. And he took time to explain all the wiring he did and how there were speakers built in every room in the house. Now, a normal person could have taken a minute to explain that as a quick anecdote and moved on. But this guy kept going. And after that, he told us to come down to the basement. And keep in mind, we've been in his house for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
He wanted to show us his big screen TV, his 3D printers, his stereo system, which he cranked up to full blast immediately so we could feel the house shake.
I don't remember that.
No, he did.
I was checked out by then already.
Well, he apparently thought we were going to be super impressed by this, but we weren't.
Well,
and
he was probably upset that he didn't get to bring out his spanking bench and swing and show us how he built it.
Well, we finally got away from his tech babble and sat down upstairs back in the kitchen area to play a board game. I sat next to Siri, and Eva and Alex sat across from us. And 2 things happened of note during this game. So I'm going to explain this, Eva, and then I want you to chime in with your impressions and everything, okay?
Okay.
So when he was not making a move in the game, he was spending 100% of his time on his phone.
100%.
Messing with his music playlist and talking to Alexa to change songs and genres and playlists, or adjust the lighting in the rooms next to us.
Changing speakers.
Messing with the volume. It was constant. And the other thing he did was give Eva absolutely 0 attention. None.
Oh, you saw that though? You
Yeah.
didn't? Oh, I thought you didn't notice that.
No,
Until
well,
I
no,
pointed it
you're
out
right.
at the second we got in the car.
Looking back, I noticed. I realized. But he never
You
complimented
didn't notice
you.
in the moment. But
Right.
once
Oh, yeah.
I mentioned it, you were like, oh, yeah, right.
Exactly.
Well, because you were wrapped up in her, as you should have been.
Well, he never complimented you a single time.
No, he did not.
Never touched you, not even like a brush against your shoulder.
Nothing.
Like nothing.
And my door was wide open
Oh, yeah.
for all that.
So, and at one point, without saying a word, he used his phone to turn on the TV in the adjacent room and started playing porn. And we thought that was very odd.
We thought that was odd. I think maybe he was trying to be funny. I don't know, like shock us. But by that point, I was so checked out.
And that's the thing. Usually, if this would normally happen, Eva, we would respect each other's decision, and she could have very easily told me, we're done here.
Oh,
But-
I could have. I knew I could have.
But at that point, and correct me if I'm wrong, you were thinking one of 2 things. 1, he'll either redeem himself in the bedroom, or 2, this is going to be one hell of a story to tell other people.
I will be honest, at that point, I was not thinking of the story I was going to get to tell.
Okay.
I was genuinely thinking this would change when we get to the bedroom.
Oh, and it gets worse.
Because yeah, it did not change, but because I had never, it was a totally new experience for me. Totally new. I've never been ignored like that ever in my life, in
And
any
you shouldn't be.
situation,
No normal
lifestyle
guy would
or
ever
not.
ignore you.
Yeah,
Trust me.
never been. But I kept thinking, is it just nerves? It didn't seem like nerves, but it also did not seem deliberate. He just was completely oblivious to anything I was doing. He was just so wrapped up in why Alexa wasn't doing things he was asking it to do, because it wasn't working
He was
right.
obsessed. He literally was
It was
obsessed.
an obsession. Yeah.
So we kept going. The game ended, and Siri got up to use the restroom.
He won
and-
the game, I think. Or came in second.
I think he came in second.
Oh, yeah, you won.
Well, when she got out of the restroom, she was in the family room, and she looked at me from across the room, and she used her finger to like beckon me to like say, "Come here," and I was like, "Yes, ma'am." So I went
Yeah.
right to her. She grabbed my hand and started leading me upstairs because she said she wanted that dick earlier.
Yeah, she did. And
So-
that was a totally new situation for me, too. To have someone lead you off. And
Well, yeah, I wanted you to tell this.
yeah, I was kind of
So you're left
left
behind.
standing in the kitchen, although he was in there, and any normal person would have done what he did not do. I assumed that as soon as his wife and you stepped out and stepped off, even though we don't do separate rooms, I have no problem starting in separate, I really thought I would get some attention then, and I did not. I literally had to ask him, so where did they go? Where do I need to go? Point me in the right direction, because I got tired of standing there waiting, and I just trotted my little self up the stairs by myself, found the bedroom to see you and Siri standing there kissing, which was great. That was fine. And I stood around and waited a little longer and thought, I guess I'll take some clothes off.
Yep. And eventually he showed up. And what does he immediately do?
Oh my God.
He starts messing with the lights through Alexa.
Oh my God. He literally interrupted you and her getting things going to show us
Oh, yeah.
how Alexa controlled the nightstands
So,
and the music.
I'm going to try very hard to not use the actual names here, but he'd say things like, Alexa, turn on Siri's side. Alexa, reduce Alex's side brightness by 10%. Alexa, change Siri's side to red. And
Siri's side never worked.
And yeah, nothing.
Never worked. The music.
Oh my God, he messed with the music nonstop too.
Because the whole house was supposed to be wired together. Mm-hmm. The music, he ended up giving up and leaving it on, I assume it was Spotify or Apple Plus or something. It wasn't a playlist. There were commercials.
Oh my God.
You don't notice things like that, but
no, I was involved.
I had nothing else to focus on. Mm-hmm. I had nothing to distract me from the insanity that this man was emitting.
Instead of saying, fuck this, I'm calling this quits, I had this beautiful, hot woman here ready to fuck me, I'll just worry about the lights and music later.
Nope, no, that did not happen.
He kept at it.
That did not happen.
I can't remember how long it was, but it was very awkward between the three of us. We're just basically standing there waiting for him.
Yeah.
When he finally got done, he came over, and I think you guys started messing around at that point. So.
Yeah.
Now.
If you can call it that.
I guess. So I took off Siri's bra, and they were nice, smallish but nice boobs. Started kissing.
She had nice boobs. She was a lot of fun.
She did.
Very, very fun.
She undid my pants.
I would love to see her again.
Me too. And she started giving me a blowjob, and then next to me, and this is what I remember, so you have to correct me on this. It seemed like you were trying to do the same to him.
I was.
But something wasn't working.
If the words blowjob just mean someone's dick is in my mouth, then that is what was going on. But I pulled out every trick that I could. The most I could get was a semi.
I would not ride
established a semi. Only if the entire thing was in my mouth and I was like sucking as hard as I could.
Our dog is trying to get into our office right now.
Come on.
So next thing I know, we'll kind of skip ahead here. I was having sex with Siri on the bed while Eva was riding Alex, or so I thought. Because
that was a while down the road.
Was there something else in between that I'm missing?
Well, first I would like to establish that after he completely ignored me in the kitchen and I took myself upstairs by myself, that is when, in my mind, I thought, I'm here for you, meaning I'm here for Evan, because I don't want him to have a bad night. I know that they are really into each other, and it's not like I was grossed out or anything. We have to pause.
You have to pause. All right, we're back from our pause, so hopefully that was seamless in the recording. But so I have a question for listeners out there. Have you ever had sex while listening to the ants go marching one by one? Because that's what was going on. Eva, you were trying to have sex with a guy who had a 100% flaccid dick. And there was the Ants Go Marching One by One playing on his playlist or his whatever music system he was
It wasn't
using.
a playlist, I'm telling you. There's no small kids. So there were commercials, which distracted me. And then the Ants Go Marching One by One was playing, like a genuine children's thing. And there was at least one other preschool song, either before or after it. And that is the moment I was lying on my back on the bed while you were fucking Siri and having a great time. That is a moment I was like, I had to stop myself from laughing. I remember thinking, I cannot believe that this is what is going on right now. This is going to make the best fucking story I have ever been able to tell. Lying here, singing in my head the Ants Go Marching one by one, while a guy literally tries to stuff a 100% flaccid penis inside me. And I'm just laying there thinking, I wonder how far he's going to get before he gets it up. Like, how far is he going to go with it? I can't believe he even got a condom to stay on it. It just was surreal. It was surreal.
And at some point there was a break in the action, and Eva was closer to me at some point on the bed.
Well, I gave up on him and started playing with her.
Okay. And then that's when he started caressing and touching and kissing and fondling his wife.
Yes. Yeah.
And he got hard while doing this.
Great. Good for him.
Yeah, and started fucking her from behind. Now, ladies and gentlemen, put yourself in his shoes. You are struggling to get hard. You have this hot woman.
Struggling to stay hard.
Okay.
But he never got totally hard, I'm telling you.
And you have this hot woman in your bedroom who is not your wife, who you have invited here for a good time, and you have yet to come through. You have yet to provide a good time. What would you have done once your wife was able to get you hard?
Because that's happened to us. To you.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had
And I
to
talked
help
about
you.
that in episode
I've helped
2.
you not numerous, but on more than one time. And sent you on your merry way to the other side of the bed.
Well, I hope you agree, all you listeners out there. I hope you agree with Eva and myself on this. When that happens, you switch over and fuck the woman who came here to be fucked by you.
Yes.
But he didn't do that.
Nope.
He just kept going at it with his wife from behind until he finished. Eva and I looked at each other like, what the
I know.
hell
We were
just
watching each
happened?
other the whole time.
He
I was
chose
looking right at you.
He chose
Yeah.
to finish in his wife while Eva was
No,
he pulled out,
he
actually, yeah.
sprayed it all over her.
Literally right next to him watching.
Yeah.
He can have sex with his wife anytime, any day. Eva was here for one night specifically for that reason. He should have been like, awesome, I'm hard now. Now I can take care of Eva. Nope. He finished with his wife.
And I thought, boy, this story just keeps getting better and better.
So at that point, Eva asked Siri's like, could she watch her and me?
I said, I would really like to watch you fuck my husband one more time.
That was hot.
I did it for you.
I know. And the night was a loss. So you were like, you might as well
Exactly.
see me enjoy myself.
Exactly.
And I
I just wanted you to have
But-
as good of a time as possible because you still didn't realize how shitty of a time I was having. And if I had had a different personality, you probably would have absolutely realized because I wouldn't have been able to hide it. But for me, the thought of having a good story means the night truly wasn't that shitty. The experience was a shitty lifestyle experience, but the night was worth this story. And it was worth it that you had a really good
I
time.
know. I wish I could see her again. But,
It was totally worth it.
but there's a little bit more to this. So while I did with her, Alex sat back on the bed and started massaging Eva's shoulders
Well,
and
because
neck.
I was biting and kissing and licking on her nipples and her face while you were fucking her.
But
And I couldn't even do that
but
without him.
But that's the thing. But my thing is, you hardly touched her all night. And then you wait until after you've come all over your wife. And now you're going to give her A massage? You're going to give a massage to this thoroughly dissatisfied woman?
I didn't need a massage.
Well,
The
I
massage
know.
was like distracting.
That's
I
what
was
I mean.
trying.
Why was he even bothering at
I
that
don't
point?
know. I
It
don't
was
know
insane.
because it wasn't even really a sensual massage. It was
He had no charm.
just yeah.
No idea how to please a woman.
No, I feel bad for her.
Gave
That
no
was my
attention to
first.
you.
I kept thinking that throughout the night. Not only is this a good story, but my God, I hope this is not how he is
And
with
then-
her all the time.
After all the technology focus he had, then he starts randomly giving you a massage. It was just so freaking weird.
Yeah.
So, I thought I was bad at reading signals, but this guy he took the cake, and
I mean, you knew at that
Yes.
point that
oh yeah,
he did not come through, and that I surely did not have a good time up there, right?
yeah,
Okay.
and I ended up walking out of there thinking like I was a god in bed compared to him, and
Everyone is.
and it wasn't really about him not getting hard.
He was the worst lay I've ever had in my
Oh,
life.
That's quite a statement. So, and it wasn't about getting hard. Okay, Eva and I know
No.
being in the lifestyle that's gonna happen sometimes.
Listeners, I completely understand that happens to men, and I really think that most women understand that happens to men. And we know it's because of nerves, and we know it's
And age.
it's not an age, and I know that I am sexy because I hear it all the time from my husband and from numerous other people in the lifestyle. I have confidence. It is not me. I understand it's anxiety. However, when you have made no attempt to even touch me or talk to me or look at me throughout the evening, it is 100% your fault because you did nothing to get the motor running, mine or yours. So
If you're not gonna perform, fine, but at least be attentive to your date's needs. Like, give her attention, give her compliments. This guy did none of that.
he
None.
had no game. And okay, the previous men that I've been with that had some trouble staying hard, they at least had a good fingering game. They had a good oral game. They had a good nipple play game. They could give me something. This guy could give me nothing. Nothing. Literally nothing.
So we can wrap up the story here. We put on our clothes, we thanked them for hosting, and began. I think it was like an hour and 20-minute drive home. It was a lengthy drive. We were both in shock. We were like, "What the fuck did we just experience? And how was I so wrong about this guy? We hit it off great, better than most other guys I've met in the lifestyle, but it was clearly an oversight, and it was not what we expected." And on the ride home, Eva is sitting there, obviously very unsatisfied and understandably annoyed that she gave up an evening,
But still
to be
laughing.
treated this way.
I mean,
Well, you have a
I
very
don't
good
think I
sense of
was
humor about
annoyed.
it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I was annoyed. I was annoyed at the situation. I was annoyed that someone could be that fucking oblivious.
So we actually called my DJ partner, or texted my DJ partner and another friend that we know from the lifestyle. It was close to 1 a.m. We knew it was a long shot, but we wanted one of them to drive out and meet us somewhere and fuck Eva. Because,
In the car.
yes, my DJ partner isn't in the lifestyle anymore, so we knew that was a long shot. And my other friend, his wife fucks other guys, threesomes and separate play, but I don't think he's allowed to be with other women. That's their thing. So I knew it was a long shot too. Sadly, it didn't happen, and we arrived home, and I took care of Eva myself.
Which was wonderful.
It was the end to a very strange but very interesting
It
experience.
was, oh my God. It was worth the story, though. I truly would do it again to have this story.
So there's one other just tiny thing to wrap this up. So the next day, which was Sunday, I texted Alex. I thanked him for hosting us, but I made it a point to not say, "Hey, we had a great time" and all that.
Well, when we hugged goodbye, because I, put on a smiling, happy face, and again, I'm happy to have the story. So the night was not all lost. So it's not like I was going to yell at him or slap him across the face or refuse to hug him or storm him out. That's just not my personality. I gave him a hug and I said, "Thank you for having us over." That because I thought in my head, I'm like, I am not going to say I had a great time. I am not going to say I had fun. I'm not going to say let's do this again. I'm not going to kiss him goodbye because honestly, he wasn't even that great of a kisser.
Oh my God.
Never met anyone who had such a little game.
But I said that, we had a great time. I said, oh,
You didn't.
No, that's right. I said
You just thanked for
we
having
right.
us over.
And I said, we were up so late. We're just getting up now because it was a late text that I sent.
And normally we would have texted when we got home,
right,
to say, "Hey, we made it home okay."
But he didn't respond. All day Sunday, he did not respond to my message.
And you were waiting because you wanted
waiting.
to call him out.
You would think he would have thanked us for coming over, for traveling an hour and 20 minutes to spend time with them. Nope. You would have thought he would have said something, anything, to address the evening we just had. But no. He did not respond to my text until the next day, which was Monday. And all it said was this. So I'm going to read you his exact quote. "Yeah, yesterday was a lazy day for us. LOL." That was it.
And that is the end of our interaction with that
was
couple.
it.
We never
thanking
heard
us,
from him again.
But hope you both had fun. We really enjoyed your company. Or even just, I'm sorry things didn't work. I don't anything. Nothing. Or even just, we don't like you guys, fuck off. Nothing. We got nothing. Just, yeah, yesterday was a lazy day for us. LOL. Did not acknowledge the evening at all. And I wanted him to.
Yeah.
Because now I was irritated, and I was going to tell him how I truly
In a
felt.
nice way.
In a nice way. I wanted to say, you are more interested in playing with technology than my wife. Because what I really wanted him to say was, we'd like to get together again sometime. And
That was a no. I had already said no.
Because you wanted to play with technology and not my wife. So I'm just kind of at the stage where I feel like I want to start calling people out on bullshit in the lifestyle. Because I don't want other people to go through what we go through with things like this. So I wanted to be upfront and honest with him, man to man. This is what's up, dude. But he never gave me that opening. So I never sent him another message, and he never sent me another one. And that was it. That was about 2 months ago at the time of this recording. So I hope this is a cautionary tale. People may not be as they appear in their photos. People may not be as they come across in their text messages. And guys, take it from me, another guy, your number one priority is showing your date a good time. They're your focus when you have a play date.
Your number one priority is your wife.
Well, after that, that's a given that you're my number one priority.
I just want to make sure. I know that. But they don't know you. The people listening to this.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
You are not wrong.
Okay.
You are always my number one priority.
Okay, but even when we're on a spicy
your
date, you are
your
always
comfort,
looking out for me.
Correct.
Okay.
But other than that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, treat them well. Okay. Performance issues are normal. They can happen. They may be something you can't control. That's understandable.
If they do, please switch to a different method.
Yes. There's plenty you can control.
We are open to just about everything.
Complimenting your date, that should be a requirement. Okay? Talking to your date, absolute requirement. So focus on that. Make her feel comfortable, make her feel sexy, make her feel like you want to be there with her. Because you should want to be there with her, otherwise why did you even set up this date? So I have an expression that I like to use to describe how I go into a lifestyle date. What I say is, I don't give a shit about my pleasure. All I care about is your pleasure. I get more pleasure, I'm going to say pleasure like 10 times here.
Yeah.
I get more pleasure out of knowing I've given a woman pleasure than being pleasured myself.
That is a lot of pleasure.
That is a lot of pleasure.
You should reword
So
it
if that makes any sense. And I truly believe that's the way it should be if you're a gentleman like me. And hopefully that rings true with most of you gentlemen out there. So that's our story of the Alexa dude. And we don't have very many crazy stories to share, but that is certainly one of them.
I can only think of one other.
And I'm hoping you come back for that one.
I will come back for that. Actually, then I can think of two others.
Oh, I can't wait to hear what that one is. So it was definitely a learning experience. Definitely gave us a great tale to tell other lifestyle dates. And we've already talked to several other lifestyle people about it. So,
It's actually really funny if I think back, because as soon as we got in the car and I told you what all had gone on because you saw the difficulty in the bedroom. But that's really all you noticed.
Right.
You didn't notice that I was ignored the whole previous part of the
I
evening.
was
You didn't
oblivious to
really
that.
notice. The next thing I did was send a message to the couple that we were meeting the following weekend, who we know well. We've met before, a couple of times, 3 or 4 times now. And I said, you better bring your A game next week to make up for the night I just had. And he did, by the way.
He did. Yes, he did. So I think we're going to sign off here. So if you made it this far, I humbly thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to listen to this podcast. And I want to thank my wife, Eva, for joining us today. I hope that
You're welcome,
she
Evan.
will come back and do this again. Especially the sensitive nurses story. I can't wait to tell about. That's a good one.
Yeah.
So look for that title in future episodes. If you see one that says sensitive nurses, you'll know that that's a good one and that Eva will be back to discuss that one with me. In the meantime, feel free to connect with me. You can find me on Kik and Instagram at Evan Dienson. That's EVANDEAS. Oh, I actually
just
I
spelled your
spelled
name
that
wrong.
EVANDEANSON. Evan Dienson. I would be happy to answer any questions you have in a future podcast episode or talk about a topic you'd like to hear about.
I can answer questions too.
I was just about to say, now that you know Eva can do this, if you have questions for her, I will definitely make her get on here and answer those questions. So hit me up sometime if that's something that interests you. Bye for now. See you next time on Evan Swings.
Goodbye.